Hello everyone, welcome to the Edict podcast series on performing arts at Ashoka. Performing arts has changed over the past 2 years at Ashoka, and this episode is specifically about the films. And we are going to talk and discuss the films you have been making. I'm Atharva Salve. I'm part of the Arts and Culture Department at Edict, and I will be asking you questions and engaging in a conversation with you about your experience as filmmakers within Ashoka. So, welcome to the podcast. First of all, can we begin with a quick round of introductions? Starting from
Yeah. Hi guys, hi guys. I'm Puru. I'm an ASP right now, and I started doing films before Ashoka, and never actually did something in Ashoka. But I remember talking to Abhijato, and he told me the craziness that comes with shooting on campus, and I was like, okay, I really want to get a bite of this, a taste of this. So yeah, that's where filmmaking in Ashoka sort of picked up for me.
yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Vedika. I'm also an ASP. I made a film on campus last semester and I've been interested in film ever since I took film courses at Ashoka actually, and I really wish there were more courses to do over here, and I'm happy to be here.
Hi everyone, I'm Abhijato. I'm an ASP too. I'm from Kolkata, and I have written for a long while. But I think after I came to Ashoka, I joined the writers' room for Bombay, and that's where I first had exposure to like being on the production side. And after that, I worked a bit more on the production side of Bombay and directed an episode. And after that, for the past year and a half, I've really got into filmmaking at Ashoka and done a lot of stuff. So it's been quite a ride. So yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Enya. I'm a YF. And I started film at Ashoka when I AD'd for Wishlist, which was last semester. And then after that, we wanted to do Kingdom of Crime. And Vikram was like, yeah, you want to AD for this? And I was like, of course. And that kind of led to me being a little bit more creative, like in terms of like the direction and stuff. I was like kind of enforcing my ideas with that, and then it kind of grew into me co-directing it. And I love it. So I hopefully, if there is time, one more project would know.
Next semester.
Next semester. No, there is no next semester, guys.
For any of us. I am Vikram Tapadia. I have been interested in filmmaking since high school. I experimented with it a little bit in 11th grade, but then I went on a hiatus and did some other stuff here. But since my second year, I've been pretty invested in filmmaking here. I started a web series called Bombay, which recently concluded after 3 years of work. And apart from that, I've done 2 feature-length films. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Sara, also an ESP. Started off doing theater over here actually, and then sort of realized that I've always loved movies, and we are blessed with like the resources here to kind of make them also. So that's why I got started, and it's been about 2 years now that I've been filming on campus.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So, first question, let's start right off. What has been your experience in making films? Being part of, I know many of us here have been part of productions and also of films. So, being part of both productions and on stage. So, yeah, what has your experience been like? Yeah, we can start with you.
I mean, yeah, like I think theater on campus is also a different beast, as big as I think filmmaking is.
Yeah.
And that was really fun, and it was sort of it's the space where I think for me at least it was where I got community, where I got like a bunch of friends who were also equally as passionate about something, and that was really nice. But of course, theater, I mean, the big difference is that theater it'll last for 1 or 2 shows in the black box, and then it's sort of in a very bad video
Yeah.
on YouTube. But with films, like it can exist, like you can really send it to people
Yeah.
outside Shuka, and it has a much wider reach. And that's like among other things, that's one of the like main things that I think I really like drew me to films more because like it stays for longer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think filmmaking also requires a lot more sort of with a lot more focus, whereas theatre like it requires more collaboration, more time, but filmmaking can happen a lot quicker with a lot more focus.
Yeah.
Not any less hard work, but like just more focus.
Yeah.
I think my experience has been quite interesting because I started out on a whim maybe for a music video, which was really fun. I couldn't be at the shoot for a while because I was sick, but I did a lot of the pre-production work. Then I got the chance to edit for a short film, for which I was not part of the pre-production, but I was part of the production. So I've seen it in parts. And then I decided to do Dhage last semester because we were actually supposed to do an ISM that never came through. And I got to write a script and I had a course which allowed me to use the lab, which was a huge blessing. And yeah, I had a lot of fun starting the process and then seeing it through to the end, despite whatever came my way.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, just for context, I've done 2 plays and I've done 2 features, a few other things here and there in film. So, in my 6th semester, so that was a year and a half ago now, I did Bombay Episode 4 first as my first directing thing. And then right after I did a play called Take Two, and the timelines really overlapped, and I think that really gave me perspective about the difference in those two sides sort of productions. Like Puru said, there's a lot of like I think process involved in theater in the sense that because both the crew and the cast have to keep an entire show in mind and they all have to be part of like a team. There's a lot of clarity that is required while doing theater. And I think in film often, like Puru said, it's a lot more focused, and I think that's because it's not that you as a director or someone working on the production team has less clarity, but it's just that often because you're shooting in small chunks, right? Like once the scene's done and wrapped with, then it's fine if you forget the lines, it's fine if you forget the blocking, and then you move on. But you as the director have to keep the editing, edit everything in mind. And I think then it's a lot more dependent on you as a person. Like I think one of the most interesting things I heard before doing my first play was that a good play is when on show day the director walks in and they have nothing to do. And I think it's quite interesting because until you hit render before the premiere, the actors will be long done and they'll be chilling, and you as a director have to keep everything in mind.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I think there a lot of like responsibility is more on the director in terms of just having everything in their mind, even if people don't realize that the process is as elaborate as theater. So I think that's one thing.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't have that much experience with theater. Because before this, the college I was in, the only like form of theater that they had was Nukkad Natak, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I've always been more of like stage productions rather than Nukkad Natak. So I did a little bit in school and never directed anything or just a part of theater. So, but I see my friends around doing it all the time, and I see that it's a completely different like beast. I think you said than I could have ever imagined, with lights and everything that goes into it, sound, everything. I do like think that for sure, like Abhijato pointed out about the whole director just sitting back and like, okay, now it's up to like, it's more of a team effort, I feel like, in with theater, like in the last production where, you know, everyone has equal responsibilities, whereas for film, at least from my perspective, it's kind of like everyone has done their part, but now the last, like putting everything together kind of needs to be done by the director.
Yeah.
And in those final few days when we're editing in 537, my goat, but when we're all editing, it's just wild, like everyone's just losing their minds because we're like, oh my god, there's so much footage. And the worst thing is when the actors are great, because then you don't know what to cut, you don't know, and you're just like, man. And it's like this is huge responsibility. But I think, yeah, at least from my perspective, I feel like the director plays like a more anchoring role in filmmaking. I don't really have much experience in theater, so yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have much experience in theater either. I've always had great respect for theater, even though some friends around me think I don't. But no, but but no, there's a great overlap though, because in Ashoka, most of the actors you work with do both theater, and when they can, they do film as well. And sometimes it's like, I mean, especially when Bombay was starting out, because like most of our cast was just from the green room. There's often a tendency to like this is like if it's like Praneel, Tamanna, and everyone, like they would just like emote like out loud, and I had to say, you're not speaking for 200 people in the black box.
Yeah.
If a mic yahan pe, it's gonna clip. So that's always an interesting experience because there's so much overlap in the two art forms here. And yeah, I think like it has been mentioned before, I think film just relies much more heavily on a smaller group of people to lead the project, usually one or two people, because if they slack off, if they don't do their job constantly 24/7, then the film just doesn't happen. With theater, I think it's just, from what I've understood, a lot more shoulders to carry the burden. I think that's one of the reasons why, I mean, at least film is in its infancy right now, so we'll see how the two stack up against each other at Ashoka, like maybe 3, 6, whatever years from now. But theater will always have more of a grounds to stand because it is so collaborative, and also just generally I think college is more geared towards having theater than film, because film is so much more technical. But it's I think filmmaking I will always have more of an inclination for because of that personalized element, because it's one or two people's vision coming exactly right. When you go for a play, you can sit here, there, you can stand, whatever, you'll have different perspectives, and that's kind of the magic of theater. But like for film, whenever you watch that movie, ideally you will watch it exactly as the filmmakers intended. I mean, fine, we can have the entire debate about a big screen, this screen, that screen, whatever audio, but all the shots will be the same, all the takes will be the same, all the story will be the same, hopefully land the same, the score will be the same every time. And that's what's always like attracted me to film more than theater each time.
Fair.
I don't know what else to add after 5 people have spoken.
We should reverse orders.
Okay, from the next one. Yeah, go on.
But I mean, it's already been said, like theatre is more of an actor's medium and film is more of a director's medium, or an editor's medium. I mean, I think that's true to a large extent. But I mean, this is not a thought on the difference, but it's just such a fun challenge as directors to work with theatre actors, especially because that's the majority of actors we work with here. It's just so fun getting them to like calm down. Like the camera's on your like eyes. That's all. But yeah, it's really fun. I think it's nice to also, like, the control freak side of you really like shines when you're in film, because you are in control. You feel in control of everything, but I think once you come on the edit table, you realize it's not really that much in control of either.
Yeah, oftentimes you want to make a 45-minute film and then you realize it's coming up to like 2 hours. I was not aware of that.
I see you've done your research.
I wanted to make 2 hours, it turned into 2.5 hours.
Okay, but yeah, it's oftentimes the director piecing it all together, and of course, like you mentioned, the actors are like gone and they're chilling and they are like, I'm done with my part, bro, I forgot my line. I didn't even know what the story was. I mean, I met people like that. Anyway, moving on. What are your thoughts about the film scene at Ashoka and how is it different from elsewhere? And let's start from you.
I don't know about elsewhere. I've not been anywhere else. But I think our batch especially has seen like the rise of film at Ashoka. I think like Vikram is one of the people who really kicked it off for all this whole campus over here. And it's just been like growing, and people are like migrating, I think, a lot from theatre to film recently. I don't know if it's a cycle or not, because there are some very interesting like juniors who have been like really dabbling in theatre that I'm very excited to see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm very curious as to why film is taking suddenly like a different take, like it's infected the whole campus. Like you look around and everyone's borrowing stuff from Media Lab. There's like no bookings left. But it's exciting. It's a nice time to see like because it's a hard medium to get into. It's really technical, like you said. It's quite daunting, I think, a bit more than theater, because there's so many moving parts, and how do you it's too much to do at times. But it's very heartening to see that it has infected the rest of campus as well.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, like back in 2023 when we were starting Bombay, it was quite a risk because not only would first of all, it's not like a short film that's like done and dusted. Like that's what people advise me to do, is just do like short film, get over with. Or like if you like the group of people that you do a short film with, do another short film. Like next semester, keep doing short films.
Yeah.
And I just did not want to do that. I wanted to tell one continuous story. I knew it needed to be a web series. I was more geared towards television anyway, and when we started, it was such a big risk. And I remember when we premiered the first episode, it was such an exhilarating feeling because we had done something that really had not been done at this college for whatever 8-9 years it has existed at that point. And because I had looked it up. I was so desperate to know that it can be done. I had looked up the Navrang stuff. I had looked up Amfax. I had looked up everything. At most, I'd found like some Minecraft short films they had made in 2016, and I was like, good for them. But like, this doesn't really help me. But and so it was just so. I mean, to make something that was like basically feature length within one semester, it was just such an insane feeling for us. And now fast forward to my last semester here, there's like so many short films coming out. People are making feature films, people are making all sorts of stuff here. Music videos even, like if you want to count that in the broad umbrella of filmmaking. And it's so, I feel so proud as a senior leaving behind this place and this space better than I found it. Like I know I have done that, right? And I'm so excited because they're like first and second years now who like make film right out of the one. I think no one in this table has done that like in their first year. So imagine what they will be doing in their fourth year, right?
Yeah.
So we can only wait and watch. I hope it continues to grow. I know that because our batch, like UG24, had such an overwhelming experience, there is probably going to be a dip for a bit. But I know they will recover. I know like a lot of this is cyclical, and like a lot of it is also senior writers. Like after we go, kya hoga? Like you know, like oh, we were all the cool kids, and now we'll go now, like fucking suffer. But I don't know if I can swear here. I'm sorry. I think that's part of senior writers. It's cyclical. Like I think it'll pick up again.
Okay.
And I'm really excited to see what some of the first years can do. Some of them, I think some first years have a lot of potential. And yeah, it's really, I think film is in safe hands here. It's still in its infancy, but I hope it gets to a worthy place in a few years.
So I think back to your question about like elsewhere. So coming from DU, there was always like this, like short films was sort of like a project based thing. Like people would usually, it would kind of arise from that, like people maybe worked on short films for their projects, for their assignments, and then it kind of like people would usually stick to short films. So I knew Vikram before I joined, and I knew about Bombay before it started actually. And I remember when he told me, I was just like, what are you thinking of? Like this is crazy, because my exposure was also sort of just that you know, people. So I have another friend who makes like films, and he did like just short films. He did like a bunch of them, but it was always like 10 minutes max 15, and that was kind of the norm. But no, Vikram told me about this, and he's like, it's going to be like 50 minutes, 45 minutes. It's going to be like in episodes. And I'm like, I just started thinking of everything that could go wrong, and not the best friend. But no, he was like, no, I'm confident I can do it, and he did. And it's just, I feel like that has really, I feel like without that, I think Ashoka would also kind of be at that short film stage. I don't know, maybe, but I feel like that really kind of gave the confidence to people that, you know, this is possible to do here, because that for me was lacking elsewhere outside. And I remember even, I think it's also like the environment. I was talking to, I think, Vedika about this yesterday. I'm not sure. No, it was Mihika. Okay. But I was talking to them about like how Ashoka is also that kind of environment that kind of pushes you to do things because everyone around you is also so passionate.
Yeah.
I feel like if this was pitched somewhere else, people would be like, yeah, sure, and then it would just never
Yeah.
surface to something. Yeah, I feel like here, if you have like one crazy person, you'll find two other crazy people who
Yeah.
are like, you know what, yeah, let's do this. And that environment is so, like, everyone is so motivated to do things here, which is amazing. I feel like I wouldn't have done half the things I did if I didn't come here. So
Yeah, I think that that also comes down to the size of the community, like the strength of the community. So when we have community of 3,000-4,000 people at Ashoka, it's like we know so many people, and it's like if you have an idea, you know who to contact. So it's not like a very big circle where you will have to send emails and look for your right people. It's like you
it's
already
like
have the right.
perfect size. I feel like not too big, not too small. Kind of.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do think like even I like this is my huge experience. I don't know about elsewhere in terms of college education, but I think even if you look at film schools,
Yeah.
it's very rare for features to come out of film school, and I do not think it's about like fetishizing length and being like I've made longer things, so I'm more ambitious
Yeah.
or better than you. But I do think short films often like I think there's just one difference between theater and film that I felt where people who do film often want to make it their career as opposed to people who do theater. That is not
Yeah.
to say that people don't do theater because they don't love it, but
Yeah.
they're like, oh, let me have fun with the community space. And I think short films are often geared towards sort of being like part of a bigger portfolio where you do it well and you show the things that you can do, and then later you go on and get a paycheck and then you do a feature, right? And I think watching Bombay, which is like basically a 6 hour long arc that has come to life in front of me, or to see the various features. Like we had our first musical feature that happened this semester, which
Yeah.
is still insane to me. Shout out to Ariel sitting off screen. Aryan and Sharul. Like just the ambition kind of like unlocks your mind in a little way where it's like, oh, like it's like who will watch a student made feature, but it's also like who will say no to me if I just want to make it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just like because you really can't guarantee what will happen to you later. Like because once you go out in the real world, the ability to make film at the scale that we make it in Ashoka is, I think, just a little unprecedented. So that's why you want to do more and more.
Yeah.
And that is why I think a lot of fourth years, especially when those who have not dabbled in filmmaking at all, have sort of just been like, I want to do this one more time before leaving. And I think that has sort of also given rise to sort of like the influx in films, and I think that's a great thing. I do think in terms of film at Ashoka, like I know it's been a very optimistic view so far, and I think it will persist and continue as well. But I do think in terms of a lot of the attendance that I've seen at screenings that have happened this semester and the people involved in projects, I do think it is very heavily reliant towards the seniors in my personal experience. I'm not saying first years or second years don't turn up, but a lot of third years and graduating people are composing both the people who make films and do films. And I think the thing with film is, unlike theatre, there is not a failsafe structurally where you know that something or the other will persist. I think if you have a theatre club, or if you have a dance club, or if you have a like music club, I think there can be variation. Like there can be like dips and peaks in terms of both like the sort of creative risks they take as well as the output that they have. Sometimes they do more shows, sometimes they do less. But I think they still persist because there is someone or the other in a club that is mandated by SLO. I think I know there are filmmaking clubs in Ashoka, but I do think that sort of like I don't think there are a lot of films, but I really think that in terms of filmmakers, like people who are in the front seat driving that project, out of like what maybe 700 or 800 people we have in ASP, I think at most there are like 7 or 8 people who have directed and edited things.
Yes.
There's a much larger community who act, score, etc. But I do think that's like not a lot of people. So I do think when those 7 and 8 people go, and then there's like who else is left who has directed things on campus or know people and watch them direct things, right? I do think in terms of like just the larger community, I do think there is a big gap which I think will reflect once the people who have done film and theatre go away. Which is again not a bad thing because then you stumble and then you learn again. And you make a Minecraft short film, then nothing happens, pandemic happens, you make a web series. Maybe nothing major might happen for a year, I don't know. And then someone will do something again. But I do think structurally at Film at Ashoka is a little lacking in terms of engagement from that end.
I don't have much else to say, but I was thinking specifically about attention and value at Ashoka that is given to creative projects, both film and theatre. And I feel like recently, because of the influx of filmmaking, there has been like a lot of interest in engaging with film, but this is still not as much as it usually is with theatre. And that's also because it takes a village to put up a play.
Yeah.
You keep adding people and adding people and adding people, and it generally takes every single person of the team to make it happen. And for most films, the teams are not as large. It's the same people coming back and doing similar things in multiple films. So, in a way, I mean, as crass as this sounds, like theatre can pull, film generally does not. It depends on the number of people on the team, and I think that's something I was like reflecting on in the last 2 semesters. I think it's just an interesting difference, and I do hope that there's also the notion that film can be watched later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you miss your friend's play, you're probably not going to talk
Yeah.
about it for the rest of the semester. So, I was just thinking about how that difference is interesting.
Yeah.
Again, how to adapt this, but I think that something that Ashoka, both theatre and film, and I think even dance and all other things, other ways stuff we have a lot, like we're really good. And like I said, this after like having gone to like theatre fests outside and just seeing the kind of plays that are winning them. So I'm like, wow, like really, this is like the best of this competition. And even in some film festivals, a lot of films are coming in here. And they have a lot of heart and they have something, but I've definitely seen better films in Ashoka.
Okay.
I think that I think it's important for us to also realize that and like know that this is the level at which we are playing. Not to be too overconfident, to be arrogant, but to realize that we can let go of this pressure of trying to be the best because we're already quite really good, and we can use Ashoka as like a sandbox to experiment and to play. And I think here I must put one mention of in defense of short films, only because I think it is a very good like stepping stone to a career in filmmaking, but I also think it's a medium in itself, where like a short film isn't just like we're making short films and then we make a feature after. Like a short film is a great medium where maybe 20 minutes you're telling a story, and it's a medium that I think I'm very optimistic about because of just how the attention spans are, and like who's going to watch a feature. And but if like a film, a short one, even 10 minutes, even a reel is fascinating. It's really good filmmaking. I think you have some really good reels actually.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's something that I want to get more into.
Yeah.
To do something I'm not really well into, but the short form storytelling is on the rise and it's very accessible. And it's just like pure creativity. Because you don't have that much time to tell a story. You just have to be smart about it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm curious about. That's only one last in defense of short film.
Fair. Yeah, I think with what differences plays in films is that with films, oftentimes the medium does not matter because like I was watching this Casey Neistat video where he talks about like how a group of friends made a film using a VCR digicam, and like you know how VCR aesthetics are. It's like broken graphics. The color is not right, but they went on to be to win these film festival to get selected. So I think the accessibility aspect that you talked about. So people who have short attention spans can watch short films, reel films, and of course people who prefer the longer ones can watch the feature films. So I think in that way it's like really good what's happening with the medium of filmmaking as a whole. Moving on. So, there has been an uptick in the number of independent productions, as we know, at Ashoka and on campus. So, what do you think has made that possible? In some ways, would you consider that creation of film is one stream that is not associated with the main performing arts clubs on campus? Because so many people are making independent films and they are necessarily not parts of clubs. They are necessarily not part of a performing arts club. So How do you think this rise in films is coming up at Ashoka? Yeah, sure. Anyway.
No, don't put me on the spot. Do you want to take it?
Okay, Vikram.
Vikram. Okay, fine. What was the question? No, I think I think we've already talked a little bit about rise
Yeah.
of films. I mean, if you want to put it in the independent lens angle, then I'm gonna be a little bit controversial here, but I don't think clubs are capable of making what we make. That's it. And I think one of the reasons is because we've talked about it again and again and again, because it's like focused on like the vision of one or two people primarily, and that's how it should be. I don't think it's like a bad thing, because filmmaking is not a democracy.
Yeah.
You work on a project because you want to. You don't like the person, you stop working with them, you make your own thing. It's okay. Right? Like no one's putting a gun to your head. But theater on the other hand is like very in line with what a club is supposed to do. Like a college club inherently is supposed to take everyone along, respect the opinions of all its members. Filmmaking is not capable of doing that. Clubs are not capable of, I mean, clubs can make a few short films here and there. I don't think they're capable of doing more than that. Or they should be. It's like inherently not really designed to do that. That way, filmmaking is geared towards the independent side, right? Because as hard as it is to like not have a budget to do things, like forget budget to like make the actual film, not even have a budget like print posters or do any of the marketing of that sort. We don't have the resources to like even book rooms in time. We have to like whatever pester people or get after SLO or something. But despite that, I think if you want to make a movie, you'll realize that the only way you can do it here efficiently or to have your vision be unbroken is to do it on your own, lonesome, or like with a few friends. And that's why we see a correlation between independent projects rising and filmmaking rising here. I think it's going to stay that way. I think I don't want to comment on like the internal machinations of the production sides of film clubs or the filmmaking club or whatever, but I think they'll stay and they'll do a few things here and there. As far as I know from the people I've talked to who are in these production club things, they don't meet that often or they're not very efficient, but fine. That might change also when the new leadership comes in. But I strongly believe that filmmaking here will remain like an independent thing that people do, and it should, because if you make filmmaking a group project, then it like loses all its appeal, and then it's just basically theater with cameras. So yeah.
Fair. Anyone else would like to take that up with a different opinion?
A slightly different opinion. I feel like to some extent that is true, but I think the more like overcasting issue is that with like film, you kind of pick who you want to work with, right? And
Yeah.
like you choose, like, you want to work on this, you want to gift your time to this. Which is also there in theater, but I feel like if you kind of make it like a club, then everyone needs to get a turn. You know what? And
Yeah.
it's like you can't always pick a certain group of people you want to work with, which is not fair to like allow. Like, sure, you can have a community which kind of learns and shadows off each other and kind of you build that sort of environment. But I feel like at the end of the day, I know that I want someone who's fast at editing to work on my film. I don't want someone who's kind of an amateur. I don't want someone who doesn't align with my work. So I feel like that is kind of a hindrance in that. And I also feel that talking about like internal mechanisms and stuff, I feel like film would not kind of work with like stuff that has to be churned out in a semester. Like there are some expectations of clubs, whereas like, okay, they will have an end semester showcase, they will have this, that, which is very interesting because I mean theater also is very similar in that aspect where they have to churn out productions. But for some reason I feel like I don't think film would work that way because of the post-production and everything. The sort of, I mean, like you said, short films maybe because it's a little like easier to work with runtime wise, and I don't know, maybe that could work out, but I also do stick to my original point where I feel that you would constantly want to work with a certain group of people which could kind of ostracize the rest of the club, and then it kind of doesn't work out. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes.
Uh, I have a few thoughts.
Yes.
I think it is. I think the differentiation between theatre and film is not entirely correct in terms of the fact that I know it's a film roundtable, but I have also done two plays. I think uh, the two plays that I did would not have been able to have. I would not have been able to do them in a club setting because it does have a lot to do with what Enya and Vikram have already said in terms of involvement. I have always liked my vision, but I do think like it travels across mediums. So just saying that, I think I want to do a particular kind of play. I want to do it independently because I can't. I would not be able to do it the same way that I want to do in theater. But a theater club still exists, right? So I do not think that that is entirely the reason why film clubs are maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think there's something there. And I will also say that. Sorry, I'm blanking out. Yeah, I will say that I think we are very. I think the independent scene is very closely related to the theatre club in a way that people don't realize, because there's a lot of overlap between people who audition for the theatre club and people who audition for films.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
except for one project that I made in the winter this semester with two people, because needed them to be there. I have always done open casting, and except for exactly one person, Pratyush Mishra, who's a second year, he has worked in every project that I've made. And except for my camera person, DOP, Manasvi Jalan, I've always worked with new people. Like, I've always cast new people. Crew has always been completely different, weird in Bombay and like whatever else. So I also don't think it's about like trying to stick to the same people. I just think that clubs are kind of. This is not me attacking or like disrespecting any clubs that are there. I just think that clubs are not necessary if you just want to go out there and do a project, in the sense that clubs can help you do a lot of things that you cannot learn in a project. For example, if you just want to learn how to use a camera, then you can't really send out an email and be like, someone please teach me the camera, or I want to be part of a camera workshop, right? But if you're part of a filmmaking club,
Yeah.
then you have a workshop
That
where
is
you learn how to do technically. Like, I was very lucky that Vikram taught me how to do the basics of Premiere Pro, because I would not have been. I was ADing for Bombay, and I would not have had the stamina to go and download a cracked version of Adobe Premiere Pro and then learn it, because I have to turn in something by the end of the day. So like, there's always people around you who can teach you things, right? Like, even my camera person Manasvi Jalan has like really taught me a lot about camera work, because I don't own a camera, so I don't know it, right?
Yeah.
So I do think clubs are useful in sort of learning,
Yeah.
and I think learning is a bit different from products. So
Okay.
I do think that output should not be the way in which film clubs are judged. And I've not
Wow.
been
Yeah.
part of any film club, so I cannot. I think you are part of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a part of a film club, and
Yeah.
I'm like getting a lot of perspective on how we could manage moving forward, because we were. It was our aim to get films out, then we decided to divide people into teams. Then we realized that it won't work like that. It needs those 1-2 people who are like crazy about their idea and who bring that idea into vision. But if there's a beginner, there is everyone in the club. There is like a
Yeah,
beginner
yeah.
and a veteran of filmmaking, and this veteran can like take workshops, teach everyone, and that I think should be a filmmaking club. Now that I listen to you, and I think it should do the task of like democratizing the medium to everyone and teaching them skills.
Yeah.
Then they're okay, of course open and independent to do what they want. Yeah.
Just one more thought. Let me take 30 seconds. I
Okay.
do think it also depends on honestly the people that you work with.
Okay.
I like for Pratyush, for example, he came for like a 2-minute scene and he had a 30-minute slot. This was back in again when I first started directing that Bombay episode. And after the scene was done, like everyone else who was working on that episode would be like, okay, I'm done, I'm leaving, which is completely fair, right? And then his scene was done and he was like on a film set for the first time, and then he just stands there and he's watching me take like pickup shots of like who was another actor on the show, and he's just watching and watching and watching. I'm so like, why is he so like fascinated started by me like literally taking like pickup shots for a scene. And then I do think that in terms of engagement, it is very. I think film is sort of an inaccessible medium which we can get into later compared to theater, but it's also like if you really want to work on it and if you want to AD for someone or if you want to just be on set and hang around, I don't think anyone really has a problem with that. And you learn a lot of things while just looking at a project happen or sitting with someone on the edit table in a way that I do not know if workshops by themselves are capable of. So I think project-based learning has always been very beneficial for me when I'm learning from someone else or teaching someone else. So I just wanted to add that that's also
Okay. Yeah.
Which is that just respond to your point on theatre being like this democratic space versus film being a little more aesthetic. I don't think theatre is like that. I don't think a project can work unless you have a leader or you have directors who are like stop, done, no more discussion, let's move forward. Like that's just true for any sort of art form, even dance, I'm sure, music, I'm sure. Where it's not, theatre is not like this place where everybody's opinions are heard and then we discussed over and over again. Of course, I respect it, everyone's opinions are respected, but that's a different question. But yes, I just wanted that like filmmaking or theatre, like both of them requires this sort of person or people to be at the lead, to be at the cusp, even whether elected from the team itself or not. And here's where my opinion on like clubs was the independence coming, at least for me, was that clubs are really good for community. It's for that for when you come in your first year, you don't know anybody in Ashoka, don't know anybody in college. And you know, if you make friends outside clubs, great, that's good for you if you find people who are like-minded and making films. I think there's bad productions now, but I know they've just found each other.
Randomly.
Basically.
Of course.
Like, oh, they're production houses. So if you find that in your first year, that's great. But if not, then there's no really place to look. There's no Tinder for filmmakers.
Should be.
I mean, the closest thing to Tinder for filmmakers is a filmmaking club.
Okay.
Where you have a community of people that
Some startup owner is out there watching this. He's going to get to you.
I think it already exists. I saw something.
Okay. Now that we are talking about like interaction between theater and theater and film, I would like to ask you, what do you think that in performing arts community we need to start looking at more collaborative projects, as in something that combines dance, music, theater and film?
No.
I want you to explain.
not with club.
I don't want to start this time, but I'll get to my first.
Like within the community.
I think Sara should start. I don't think you've got a turn now.
Fair.
Yes, I think so. I mean, for me, theatre and film are so interrelated. Like, I've learned so much from each, and it always bleeds into the other. A lot of, like, the process I follow is theatre with a camera in front of it. So, it does end up, like, bleeding into each other a lot. And, like, I think film is actually a medium, maybe even theatre, that does already combine music and theatre, and I mean it's a musical dance also. So for sure, I think it's always fun to have more influences and more things and more people come on board with their expertise, because I don't know shit about dance or about music, for that matter. So I think it's really cool because I feel like my art is already influenced by all these other art forms that I like dab in little, and then for the project that I'm doing, if it's a film, it always ends up bleeding into the other, and I just think that's really cool and always just so fun to, like, it really gives you perspective on the form that you are also indulging in at that point. So yeah, I think it's cool and fun, and people should do it more.
I think I strongly agree with Sarah, because I think in a way it's already happening. Because we're talking like about these spaces like they don't include people, but it is the same people who are here and like in film and in theatre, and you bring what you learn from one medium to another, and the same goes for dance and music as well. And already there are so many collaborative projects happening with like 3 or 4 elements. So I think it is already happening. I think more of that would only benefit like everybody around it.
It's not like it's not happening. Like, again, we had a first. It seems blasphemous that he's just sitting there. But like, again, like, I don't need to speak for Arya, so you can like join and comment on this one. But like he was the person who composed the music, and then he was also one of the co-directors for the film, right? And I think the challenge is that it's very daunting because again you have not seen it happen except for this musical film this semester. But dance and film and dance and song and theater have happened.
Yes.
Be it with Two Lives or Devdas this semester, and I think I started this. Yeah, so there have been a few productions.
Yeah.
I think it's six to yeah.
Six, yeah, six.
We had like three musical based theater productions in 1 week, which was crazy this semester. I do think it's daunting because I think if you're coming again from an independent lens, that just means more things to get right. Like I'm already trying to like just get the film part of it done, and then you're asking me to like produce music for it, or you're asking me to like make the dance number look good. And I think on film, especially in theater with a live audience, you often not get away with like performance, but like you're in the moment and people enjoy the performance and then they're like good. But in film, you really need to make it look good. So it's just more things to make look good. I do think it's possible, as I think if you listen closely, showed this semester.
Yeah.
But I will say that I think. Again, I do not think these are things that need to be segmented. I think people who want to do it will do it, and I think clubs. I'll just say this out loud. I think clubs are sort of a hindrance because the way they work is that there will be like leadership and POCs from every single club, and that's what Vikram was talking. Puru was talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like I think when responsibilities start getting diluted, which happens a lot with like clubs collaborating with each other on a production, I think it shows in the result of how the production turns out. So I think instead of clubs, if it's with people, you still have points of contact, and if you know better, like if you're the musician, then you take over, and then I will follow your lead even if I'm the director. But when that happens in a more independent space compared to like very established big hitters who are obviously at the forefront of clubs, because they are the ones who are going to be taking up collaborations, right? I do not think that benefits the art. I think it benefits the reputation of clubs. So I do think if anyone wants to do it, then just find people to do it on your own. It doesn't matter what the quality of it is.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you want to talk or should I?
No, go on.
So I just wanted to like share like a thing, because for Wishlist we had just one scene which was supposed to be like a musical number, and it had an original song and it had a dance choreographed to it. So the original song, we were very lucky enough to have like a friend who had been following Bombay for a very long time, and they were like passionate about like the project in general. So we told them like, hey, there's this thing coming up, do you want to do this original song? And they did it. And even more lucky enough, our actors were from Pune, and they're also based in Pune. So it kind of worked out where they were on break and they kind of recorded everything in Pune, sent it over. It was really insane luck, and that it all happened together. We still can't believe it happened. Shout out to Arjesh. But the song happened, and somehow that was the easier part than when it came to the dance part, because we were like kind of, our first thought was, okay, we don't know any dancers, let's go to Abhinaya. And that was kind of with the entire, like, because they had their own stuff to work on. They had, they also wanted to do it well. They also had, I think they had a showcase, I don't remember. Something they had after Wishlist, and they were mainly focused on that. And then we're like, hey, please, our thing is we need this done by this date because we need to start editing and the scene and everything. And I remember we did like shooting at 7 a.m. in the morning, and 6. We did 6 in the morning because we needed empty streets to do the dance number. And I remember that we'd been like in contact with them for like a month, but it was only done towards like the end. And I'm not giving them any hate or anything. I'm just saying that like, I think with clubs, it's like they have their own stuff to focus on.
Okay.
And like, if you want to, I'm just speaking from personal experience, because that is what happened with Wishlist, and it was really, really last minute, and it came out amazing. Like, I'm really happy with it, and I also think Abhijato's point of like making it look good, because we kind of had to like exaggerate a few things. We kind of had to like have the camera at certain points, even though it looked amazing from like a viewer standpoint. Like I was standing there and they were doing it in front of me. I was like, wow, this is so cool. But we had like 3-4 different camera set up because we needed to like get different angles and stuff. So yeah, I just think those 2 points. I just wanted to add that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll clarify my no. No, like obviously all of these things are like really wonderful, and there is going to be some amount of collaboration no matter what. Like if you make a movie, there's going to be some sort of sound design, there's going to be score ideally, there's going to be like writing, actors. There's already overlap with all of these things, right? And in a perfect world, of course, like we can get the best minds in our college from all these different fields and hold hands and sing Kumbaya and do a perfect movie and like have a like great collaboration and everything. But that's generally not how it works when you want to get things done. I think in terms of having, like, if you are ambitious, like if you listen closely again, like such a great movie and like musical dance sequences, songs, film, that was a wonderful like this thing collaboration, right? And I think I'm sure more of those will also come up ideally.
Yeah.
And that's great. Collaboration is great. What I meant by the no is that I think even in this roundtable right now that we've discussed film often in light of the other PA spaces, especially theater, right? And while that kind of overlap is like very interesting to talk about, I don't think it's something people should aim for, that I'm going to make a movie and I'm going to like collaborate with all these people and it's going to be great, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm going to get Vistar over here and Abhinay over there, like nahi hone wala wo. Like I don't want people to do that as a senior, like as someone who's leaving the space behind. I want film to stand on its own. Like film right now was in its infancy when we started this, when Bombay started as well, which is why there was so much overlap. In a perfect world, there'll be people who, after we go make movies regularly, there'll be actors who mainly act in movies and maybe do theater on the side if they want to, instead of the other way around. And I really want people to focus in on like things that maybe we haven't done well in filmmaking. And I don't even mean like the technical aspect of like, oh yeah, my cinematography is the best, oh yeah, this angle is so cool. I want people to like film two characters sitting in a room just talking and make that interesting, right? And we're talking about this random shit. I want people to focus on screenwriting. I want people to focus on dialogue. I want people to focus on plot development. I think plot development is a general weakness in writing that we've seen at Ashoka in both theater and film especially. I want people to actually hone in on film itself and then making a film, and not focus on like, I want to hold hands with 20 other people and like have a blast of a movie where we collaborate other things. If you do that successfully, it's called If You Listen Closely, and they did a very good job, and I'm sure other people will as well. Collaboration, no one's gonna stop collaboration. I want people to focus on film when they want to make a film. I don't want people to like, do 20 things.
So anyway,
Okay, 30 seconds.
yeah. No, double tap on. I mean, I think this is. I don't think this is just about film. I think across things, across like PA clubs and all, it becomes more about the collab. It becomes more about that, like the marketing, the sell of it,
Spectacle.
the spectacle of it, which is great. I love ambition, but I think we really need to. I really hope, and this is where I'm pessimistic about the future of PA at Ashoka, where it becomes more about doing the next big thing, the first is this, and less about like, look, we're doing this creative part.
Okay.
And I think people need to really ask why they're doing what they're doing. Why this film now? Why are we doing this right now?
Okay.
And make it less about like, oh, this will blow people's minds, but like, this is something that I really want to do.
Yeah.
And then it will blow people's mind.
Yeah.
Because it is important to blow people's mind, but like not just for the sake of blowing people's mind.
Yeah.
I mean, focusing on the quality more than the how many people will attend the screening, how much.
No, those are also very, very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Without people who are screening also part of making the film.
Okay.
But I mean, like, without just caring about what is the
End product.
yeah, like it's going to be this X, this presents this, or this is going to be this, just that made by these people. Incidental.
Okay. I was going to ask what is the future of film at Ashoka, but I think many of us we already talked about that. But okay, this is a question by me. What kind of film would you make if you were not constrained by campus location? Because we are quite far away from Delhi. Anywhere you want to go in Delhi, it takes like around 1.5 hours. I want everyone to take 1 minute, and I will hold you accountable for your time, starting from.
What kind of film?
Rapid fire.
Yeah. What, like, if you were not constrained by campus location, what kind of film?
I'm scared Puru's gonna steal my answer.
Go on.
Muslims.
Start.
The mystery noir, Hitchcockian, fully like Vyomkesh Bakshi-esque
Oh my god. Yes.
jazz.
Jazz.
Just put everything in there.
This is where I start. And
Okay. No, thank you. Yes.
I think I've always been very like wishful of shooting in Delhi because it has some so
Yeah.
many beautiful locations, and I really don't know about like story and all. That we'll have to see, but I think that would be the focus of the film, to have that feeling of being in a city as old and as beautiful as Delhi.
Yeah. You did you mean that you want to make a film inspired like the from the 90s setting?
I think it's even older.
Okay.
80s.
Makes sense.
Something that has the piano man.
Okay. Noted.
That-
Yeah. Your 1 minute.
I think I have made everything that I wanted to, even if it doesn't
Oh, wow.
come into campus. Because just make it. You have one life. I premiered a feature-length audio story for my friend yesterday, and I kept it a closed screening. And like it was like a dystopian, huge, magnificent world, and I just did all the sound design. I was like, "Karna hai karenge." I just can't show it on screen because you can't.
Yeah.
I will say I just wish that we had locations where we could block better, because I work with a lav mic, so I can't pick up sound from the other end of the room. So I just wish I would have more freedom with blocking on an actual film set.
Yeah.
And I wish sound would not be an issue.
Yeah.
I think that's all I wish for. I just because you can't block with a lav mic too well. Your camera has to be on someone's face or like
Yeah.
till here. Otherwise, you can't have a dialogue. So that's
Yeah.
all I wish from.
One of the technical difficulties that comes with location constraint.
Yeah.
Fair.
Shit. I think kind of chiming in on Vedika's answer, like slice of life type movies. I love like movies that are like about the city, where the city is kind of like the main character.
Wow.
So something like that with Delhi or any other city. Also a musical. But that's already been done. I love musicals. I would have loved to make a musical. Yeah.
Yeah, when you said the city as a subject, it really reminded me of All We Imagine Is Light.
Yeah.
And when I watched that, I was like, I wish we would make things like
Yeah.
these, because I have seen red bricks all around in every
Yeah,
film.
exactly.
So yeah, that is why I included that question. Anyways, yes.
I think, I mean, we've already shot in Delhi, and we've sort of checked that off. We've shot in Delhi, Gurgaon, like all over Delhi, like for Kingdom of Crime. In terms of locations, I would love to make something by the ocean or on a hilltop in the snow, like things like that we can't get here in NCR.
Worst audio locations ever. You're gonna be on sleeper all day, man.
Thinking it through.
Yeah. Wait till that dubbing. Anyway, but no, I would just love to make something by the sea. I think that's my main thing. And I would love to make something science fiction, because I've engaged in like the buddy cop thing. I've done a rom-com. I've done whatever drama for Bombay. So like I'd love to make something science fiction type thing. I think by the sea. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is so hard. I want to make like 6 movies. I don't know. You're asking me like top 4. I have like 20. Think. Bro, combine all of them. I don't know. Like, think Kill Bill meets Dawn meets Greta Gerwig meets Joyland meets All We Imagine Is Light. Like, combine all of them and make one masala film. I want to do that.
Fair. That's really. I think all of these ideas are really great, and I think one day you should end up making those films when you won't be constrained by locations, because you guys are leaving in a good way. All the best. But
We're leaving in a good way.
one film. Okay, I will answer this question. One film I would make if I were not constrained by the location is the one that was abstract. Which was ideated by my friend Dhruv. Shout out to Dhruv. He had given us an abstract, and we are wanting to make that film for a long time, and that will end up happening. But I just wanted to leave you all with that positive note, and also wish you all the best, and thank you for joining us here at the Edict podcast on performing arts. I will also like to give shout out to the team behind the camera. So yeah. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.